Hi friends, it's me Johnson and welcome to my channel. For today's video, we will talk about English, particularly in conjugation of verbs. So for today's video, we will know the different kinds of verbs that changes its form when being conjugated and the verbs that remains in the same form when being conjugated. So there are verbs that changes its form when being conjugated into different forms. So the form that I am talking about in the conjugation of verbs are the present form, the past form, and the past participle form, such as the word eat. Eat in the different forms of the conjugation changes its form. So if we are going to conjugate the verb eat into its present tense, it is also eat. But if we are going to conjugate the verb eat into a past form or in the past tense, that will be ate, or that spells A-T-E. And if we are going to change the verb eat into a past participle, it will be eaten. So the other verb, or another example for the verb that changes its form when being conjugated, is the word sing. If we are to conjugate the word sing in the present form, that is sing, which is still the same. And if we are going to conjugate the word sing into its past form or the past tense, that will be sang, or that spells S-A-N-G. And if we're going to conjugate the word sing into its past participle, that will be sung, or that spells S-U-N-G. So, if we are going to look into its translation or its transition from the base form or from the present form to its past participle, that will be sing, sang, and sung. Aside from the verbs that changes its form when being conjugated, there are also verbs that do not change its form when being conjugated. For example, the word climbed. If we are to conjugate the word climb into its present tense, still it is climbed. But if we are going to change the word climb into its past form, that will be climbed. So there is a word ed that is attached at the end of the word climb. The same goes if we are going to conjugate the word climb into its past participle. They have the same translation for the past participle. So if we are going to look into the structure of the word climb into its conjugation, that will be climb, climbed, and climbed. Observed, while we are having the conjugation of the verb climb and sing in the present form, they are the same. Always remember that the present form of the conjugation of the verb is also called as the base form of the verb. So there is no need for us to change its form if the verb is being conjugated into its present form. Now let us proceed to the second part of our conjugation of verb, which is the past tense form, or shall we say the past tense. So in the past tense, in order for us to conjugate the verb, all we need to do is to change the form of the verb by adding ed or by changing its form. For example, from the word climb. So in order for us to get the past tense of the word climb, all we need to do is to add ed. So that is climbed. Aside from that, let's have another example. That is the word eat. So the past tense of the word eat is ate. So as you can see, the whole word has changed its form. And we have something that we call it the irregular verbs, which will be discussed later on. Aside from the second part of the conjugation of the verb, which is the past tense form or the past tense, we also have the past participle. So in our past participle, just like the past tense, some of the words will change its whole form, and some of them will be added ed, just like the word climbed. So the past participle of the word climbed is climbed. So the whole structure of the word climb in the conjugation of the verb is climbed for the present tense, climbed for the past tense, and climbed for the past participle. For the word eat, that will be eat for the present tense, ate for the past tense, and eaten for the past participle. So the whole structure of the word eat in the conjugation of the verb is eat, ate, and eaten. So that is how we conjugate the words. Now there are two kinds of verbs that is found in the conjugation of our verbs. The first one is what we call the regular verbs. When we say regular verbs, these are verbs that do not change its form when we conjugate, just like the word climb. So, all we need to do in order for us to conjugate this word is to add ed, simply by adding ed at the end of the word. Another kind of verb that we need to observe during our conjugation is what we call the irregular verbs. The irregular verbs changes its whole form or the structure of the word when being conjugated. When we say changes its whole structure of the word, it means that the word that is in the past tense is different from its past participle, just like the word eat. In the present tense, we have eat. In the past tense, we have ate. In the past participle, we have eaten. That is why they are not similar and we call it the irregular verbs. But, all in all, both of the two kinds of verbs are still verbs.